Yeah, well done, team.
Okay. Sarah, do you see a lot of people in the room?
I only see 12 presenters. I can't see attendees yet.
Okay. We're
It
just
might
going to go
take.
ahead. We're
Okay,
recording, so we'll go ahead and
good.
get started.
Good.
Okay.
The last guy's the best anyway.
Okay. I apologize. My name's Lacey Whedon, Director of Parent Friendly Programs. I apologize for the technical difficulty there with Teams. Our staff in the background will continue to, Tyler, maybe post a link on our Facebook page and maybe see if there's anyone else in the Teams room to get moved over here. We'll keep that going while we start the presentation. So good evening, families. Thank you for joining us tonight. I will be your moderator for the evening for this session, this town hall about the academic classroom experience. And tonight we'll learn about the classroom experience for spring semester, and our panelists will share what they've learned from student and faculty feedback. We'll also talk about our plans for fall 2021 and increased opportunities for student engagement in and out of the classroom. Joining us on our panel tonight is, and if we can advance the slide. Joining us on our panel tonight is Dean John Stein, Vice President for Student Life and Dean of Students, Dr. Kyla Ross, Assistant Vice Provost for Advocacy and Conflict Resolution, and Dr. Larry Jacobs, Professor and Associate Dean for Academic Affairs within the College of Engineering. And Dean Stein's going to start us off this evening with his slides, and then we'll progress through our presentation. Then we will ask for questions at the end. And thank you so much again, families, for being flexible. Teams just, for whatever reason, was tired on a Monday, so we're just going to keep rolling here. All right, thanks. Go ahead, John.
Okay, good evening and greetings from Atlanta and from Georgia Tech. I'm glad that you could join us. I'm going to very briefly, because I really think that the evening belongs to Dr. Ross and Dr. Jacobs, but do want to briefly kind of tell you exactly where we are at this point. So we are in week 9 of the semester, and we're just at the halfway point, a little bit over the halfway point. And this would be the time that we would typically be gearing up for spring break, but as we know that due to COVID and stuff, we will not be having an official spring break. Instead, we will have 2 days that we're calling kind of WellBeing Days. One is tomorrow, the 16th, and the other one is Wednesday, the 24th. However, we have planned 2 weeks of well-being events that are days that students can connect into activities and webinars with all the COVID safe precautions in place and stuff. It doesn't replace spring break, we know that, but it is trying to kind of offer some students opportunities to kind of just step back for at least a day or two and recharge themselves as we move to the end of the semester. Also, during these 2 weeks, I wanted to make sure that you understood that we have extended hours in the counseling center and in the care center. We realize it's a stressful time for students, and so we've extended those hours till 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So the hours of operation are from 8 to 7 for the next 2 weeks, Monday through Thursday. Next slide, please. In addition, throughout this semester and from now till the end of the term, we have a whole series of undergraduate engagement opportunities for students, one of them being the Skyline Series, which is out of the Office of the Arts. These will be some outdoor events that students can take part of. It's both campus-based and Atlanta-based arts organizations. Outdoor concerts, and I think it can be a fun experience. Some will be during the week and some will be on the weekend, along with many other activities. So encourage your student to take advantage of some of these just to take a break and get some relaxation and enjoyment. Next slide. And finally, we will continue for the second year in a row what we're calling Student Celebration Week. One of the things we're trying really hard to do during this time is to hold on to some of the traditions that we typically have as we move to the end of an academic year. a lot of different kind of events that celebrate our students' leadership and our students' accomplishments. So we will be having a week of celebration in April, and we will have Lavender Graduation, Up with White and Gold, which is a student leadership event. And this will be a hybrid, both in-person, limited, and also online. And then the Fraternal Excellence Awards. So, and there'll be others also, but we just wanted to highlight these and make sure that you realize that even despite the time that we're in, we're trying to hold on to the traditions that we typically have as we end and bring closure to an academic year. At this time, I'm going to turn this presentation over to Dr. Kyla Ross.
Thanks, John. So I'm Kyla Ross. I'm the Assistant Vice Provost for Advocacy and Conflict Resolution. And I'm just so happy to be here tonight with all of you to talk about classroom experiences survey and some of the results that we've learned, which I know lots of folks are really interested in. So next slide. Just wanted to give a little bit of background here. So first of all, we did do some of this surveying. We actually did surveys for our students, and we hosted listening sessions and focus groups for all of our folks involved in our classes. So undergraduate students, graduate students, GTAs, faculty, and instructors. We actually did this in the fall and have repeated this in the spring. And just for context, in the fall, this was really informative for our teams in order to adapt for the spring instruction. These are really trying times. We all know that. So we want to learn as much as we possibly can about what it's like for our students and for our faculty in these classes. So I've put up on the slide here just a little bit about the survey that we've sent out, comparison with fall and spring. We're getting around 28 to 30%, so pretty similar response rate for our surveys, and we've run a number of focus groups and listening sessions over the past 3 weeks. And so what I'm going to talk about today is really sort of preliminary, but it's just looking at holistically of what we've learned from some of those sessions and from those surveys. So next slide. I'm going to focus on kind of two main pieces. One is technology and engagement. I've tried to give the comparison. Obviously we gathered a lot of data, and I've really distilled this down to some basics just for talking points, and happy to answer questions. But one thing that is clear is the shift to remote instruction and all of the modified campus operations has required a lot of pivoting for a lot of us. And luckily, I would say we've had the benefit of a lot of technologies that are in our classes. And so what we're seeing is that our instructors are able to use those effectively. We've learned some things over the fall semester and into the spring, and I can definitely tell you that there are fewer technology challenges overall that people are reporting in the classes in the spring, so that's a benefit. And we know what some of the challenges are, and we're continuing to work through some of those, though by and large, I think that people are pleased with the wide variety of technology that we have available. We are definitely seeing across all of the course modes. Of course, we've got remote courses, we've got hybrid courses, and we've got residential courses. And we are seeing that students' perceptions of and instructors, faculty's perceptions of the ability to learn the material is very comparable across the course modes, which is also supported in education research and literature. So that is good to see that in our data as well. And we definitely continue to hear and see evidence are continuing to improve the overall educational and social experiences for our faculty, our GTAs, and students. We do see this spring more of those in-person opportunities. That is definitely coming through, and people are talking about those in much more positive. It's much more, even more meaningful than it was last fall. So that's really encouraging to see. So next slide. And then I just wanted to talk a little bit about campus and classroom culture. Again, I think all of us on the call probably can relate to this, but these have been really trying times for a lot of us. And it is really impressive to me, and I feel very proud to be part of this community in our students reporting strong connections to Georgia Tech, that our instructors are very empathetic and they're very flexible. We saw that last fall. We're seeing that trend continuing. I will say that this is an interesting trend in the sense that many people are reporting that these high degrees of flexibility is essential at this point as we cope with all of the challenges that we're facing in the pandemic. Interestingly, we see many reporting that flexibility can sometimes impact the course and the time management and motivation and attendance that we're seeing in our population. So I think that really sort of tells us that, imposing some structure around the expectations around attendance or how guidance around, managing time and courses is a way to kind of increase the accountability for the students. And so we're definitely sort of seeing that in the narrative, hearing that from faculty and from students and from our TAs. And we definitely are hearing from lots of folks that there are lots of stressors, that go even beyond the classroom, and acknowledging those is important in order for us to sort of process what's happening in the classroom. And I would say that all are appreciative of the efforts that we have, and as John talked about, with all of the attempts to try to maintain traditions and provide opportunities for engagement on our campus as much as we possibly can and as safely as we can. So I'm happy to answer questions once we get to that part, but I'm going to turn it over now to Larry to talk a little bit about fall.
Thanks so much, Kyla. And as you said earlier, I'm Larry Jacobs, Associate Dean for Academics in the College of Engineering. I'm also the co-chair of the Academic Restart Committee. So that's my role here is mainly that. And hopefully today we can talk about what fall is going to look like and give you all a sense of what it will, what your students can expect. And again, our model, and we're really comfortable and confident of this, is it's going to look, fall of 21 is going to look similar to fall of 19. And the plan is to basically be able to increase residential offerings and have very limited remote offerings. We're getting rid of the hybrid concept completely. And the remote classes will basically be because of issues, let's say, classes that were remote before COVID. We have certain choke point classes, some of the CS classes early on, where we have a lot of experience, and but your student will know what they're signing up for. They'll know that they're going to be in a remote situation. We're basing this again on CDC guidelines. I'll talk about that next slide, but the only way we can do this is if we can it will be the space constraint, and we have to be able to return to normal occupancy, right? We're again looking for the CDC to say we can reduce the 6 foot distancing inside the classrooms to, I read this morning, they're looking at something closer to 3 feet. And so, between now and when classes start in August, we're hoping that reduction will continue to go. But everything, obviously student safety, student health, faculty safety, faculty health, and staff health are critical. But we want to basically get back to normalcy. We see our peers are doing this. We're all, obviously we're building a contingency plan. The contingency plan, and again, the pivot will be much earlier, but the contingency plan is if the health conditions don't allow us to do this. But, I can talk about deadlines and things like that as we move forward. But you see, we're very much so returning to that student engagement, again, within the protocols. And next slide, please. And so this one, again, we're very much so. I can hold up and show you. This is my vaccination. We just opened up this morning for the population 55 and over, and with a series of health risks per the governor of the state of Georgia. And so I became eligible on today, and I was one of, I believe we're going to go, it's going to be about 500 vaccines we're going to give out today. We have the capability of of delivering 1,000 vaccines a day. The setup is really good. This is again based on we'll be using the Pfizer just because we could take any of them, but the Pfizer just because we have the cold storage for the Pfizer, and we just think that that's we'll have more access to those vaccines. But obviously, we're going to continue to follow the health guidelines. I try to use the example. My mother is in an assisted living, and she was vaccinated about 6 weeks ago, and she still goes to dinner. Now she can finally go to dinner with her friends, but they still wear masks, okay, except when they're eating. So we're still going to keep those protocols, and we're looking to the Georgia Department of Health and the CDC for that, to follow their protocols. But we believe, again, that most of our faculty and staff and students will want to be vaccinated, and they will be vaccinated. We strongly believe we'll have the ability to vaccinate everybody who wants to be vaccinated. Again, whether they get vaccinated before the end of the spring semester, or we'll have a procedure in place for the students that are returning that aren't vaccinated, that want to be vaccinated. We're confident we'll have that. So I just wanted to give you a high level idea of what we're thinking. And that was my last slide. And I think we're going to go to the question and answer period, right?
Yes. So this is Lacey again, the Director of Parent-Friendly Programs. So we do have some questions in the chat box. And again, I apologize. I see so many attendees entering the room. I apologize that we had the little glitch with Teams. So we had to, for whatever reason, it was freezing for all of us, and we had to skip over here to Blue Jeans. So thank you for pivoting with us. One of the questions actually was if we could do a quick recap. And I think what I'd like to just say is we are recording this, and we will share the recording for the families that were kind of caught between the two virtual rooms, and we will share that with you. Dean Stein spoke, as well as Dr. Ross, and we will come back to that. But I'm going to go into some of the questions that we're getting in the chat box. One is when will students know for sure about in-class learning for the fall? This is critical to know so we can arrange housing for the, I'm assuming fall, for their students. So
Do you want me to take that?
Know for sure that we will be in-person classroom for the fall is the question.
So I can start on that one. So the schedule, the schedule will go live on the 17th of March, and so that will show what to expect. But you'll see they are listing in person. We are listing, with few exceptions, that it will be in person. If we're going to try to time much better with housing, if we're going to have to pivot to our contingency plan. Right, we're going to try to give you all the housing has a series of refund days, and so as we get more information, but the information we're getting is really in the general public, right? I mean, all those decisions are based on are the vaccines going? Are there new variants showing up that the vaccines are not effective with? Those are the things that we feel will be the triggers that will not allow us to do the residential that we're promising. But we will keep you informed of that, as I said, and we have generally July 1st as the day we're going to be our final sort of day. If we have to pivot, we're not going to pivot until then.
Great. We had another question, and I can answer this one. When will surveillance testing end? As of this point, we will continue to do that. It is working very well, and our students have gotten used to it, and the faculty and staff are used to it. So until we really know otherwise, for right now, we're going to keep going with the surveillance testing. I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in there. Dean Stein?
Yeah, there is no plan to end it at this time. So, we're still doing it. It's still working. It's still very essential to our community. So we're going to continue it.
Okay. Next question, why are we being so cautious about saying that for fall 2021, everything will be back to normal? I am expecting to go back to normal classes, no exceptions. That was the opinion of that person. That's certainly our goal, to be back to normal, back in person. Dr. Jacobs, did you want to jump in?
I hope we're not equivocating. I hope, again, predicting the future is difficult to do. But we're basing everything on the normalcy. We're doing it, our peers are doing it, but I'll just, again, following the news, you'll see one of our peers in Durham, North Carolina, just had to shut down, basically had to move everybody back, pull all their students back. So we, there are things that are out of our control, but we, we'll state unequivocally where, our goal is to open, fall in person, looking like, fall of 19.
Yes. A question, will vaccines be required? And I can answer that, or Dean Stein, if you want to answer that.
Vaccines will not be required. They are strongly recommended, but we will not be requiring.
Will there be a mask mandate in place for all residential courses? And I'm assuming they're meaning for the fall semester for next year.
Again, if I'm trying to predict the future, I would say yes. I would say the mask wearing is effective. I would say people, again, the science is telling us that people that even are vaccinated can be, can transmit it. We know how to teach with the masks. Again, you go to the CRC, you go to the library, masks are required in those spaces. And as of right now, I would say masks will be required, but we will follow the guidance of Department of Public, Georgia Department of Public Health and the CDC.
So for this semester, there's a question, are there any options for outdoor learning for the remainder of the semester? Will be faculty be teaching outside, taking advantage of that opportunity?
So you want me to take this one, Kyla?
Yeah.
Or, yeah. Sure. I'm happy to take it. I have. So yes, we are moving in that direction, but you have to realize, again, I'll talk about my class, which meets Tuesday, Thursday. I'm not teaching tomorrow because tomorrow is one of our spring break days. But I'm in a hybrid fashion, and in order for me to move that lecture outside, that particular lecture, all the students who are remote will not be able to participate. So I will continue to teach that part in the classroom in person. However, I am moving activities, more interactive activities outside. I'm holding office hours outside. We're going to do a little exercise outside, that this way that folks who want to participate can, but we have to give alternatives this semester to students who are made the decision not to come to campus.
Thank you. Let's see here. Lots of good questions flowing in.
Here's a question for Kyla. On the polling focus groups, if you look at just first-year students, do they have the same responses compared to students who are already here and have connections at Georgia Tech?
Yeah, that's a great question. We don't actually have that drilled down on the quantitative survey, but I can tell you from the listening sessions, the general theme is certainly people who had some prior connection to Georgia Tech or to their peers, even, we can go that far, feel that sense of connection is maintained. Those who haven't had prior connection, we are seeing that has been a challenge for folks to build those connections. Maybe it's meeting peers, grouping up for group projects, or just even getting acquainted with the campus. So we are taking that that data and trying to do something with it and trying to provide opportunities even this term to re-engage or engage some of those folks who may need some extra engagement, and some of the activities that John was talking about certainly help with that. So yeah, we do see that, though we haven't taken a close look at that in the survey. That's more coming out of our focus groups. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. So we have a question about housing occupancy. Students will have their own rooms, or will it be limited capacity? And I think we have what we hope will be full capacity for the fall semester, as we've shared. But John, is there anything else we want to add to that?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think the plan right now is that we're going back to the way things were in fall 2019, which means that we will have full occupancy and house students the way they would have been housed back in 2019.
Yes, that's our goal. Is SOUP happening this summer? Summer online undergraduate program. Mm-hmm. I haven't been able to find any information on it for this summer.
You want me to take that one?
Sure.
So we're rebranding SOUP, okay? And so SOUP, the word SOUP, the term SOUP is going away, but we will publish the summer schedule. And again, summer will be different than fall, and we will publish that, and you'll have, the student will be able to see how that class is being offered. But just because we're not using the term SOUP does not mean there will not be classes that a student who wants to take a single class while they're interning or something like that online there will be classes clearly identified that they can do that.
There is a website that has a listing of all the courses that are going to be offered so far this summer. And we should try to maybe put it in the link to it in the chat, which would be very helpful, I think.
Yeah, I don't have that link on.
Yeah, I can try to find it.
Let's see. Trying to see if isn't the expectation that professors get vaccinated and move to an in-person within 2 weeks of a vaccine? Not sure what they're asking there. I think they're asking if faculty get vaccinated, could they teach in classes in person this spring? I'm not sure. Depending on their vaccine schedule, and with us going into finals pretty much in April, I'm not sure how quickly that would actually even happen. But I don't know if Larry, if you want to answer that.
No, I mean, again, we're moving in that direction, but we're not going to make that requirement. Again, we're not requiring the vaccine, right now for faculty. We couldn't. We don't have the vaccine to give every faculty member. And Lacey, as you say, I look at mine. I have 3 weeks. So today the 15th. I think I can get it April 5th is in that week my second shot, and then it's 2 weeks after that, and that basically puts us at the end of the semester. But we are pushing very much so there, to have as much in person with the weather getting warmer this semester. But that will be different in the fall, though. Fall, the expectation is, the faculty will be in the classroom, and if they want to, if they think they need a vaccine for that, we will provide them with a vaccine.
Okay, there's a question about why won't vaccines be required, like similar to MMR? And the reason for that is because this is an emergency approved vaccine, and the MMR is not an emergency approved vaccine. That is a fully vetted, fully approved. It's not an emergency through the. I don't know if I'm using my words correctly, but
you're quoting. We're all quoting Dr. Holton, who's the physician who's in charge, and we're looking at it has an emergency use authorization, an EUA, and so if it's on an EUA, we will not require it. If it moves off, that would be different, but it's not. It's still an EUA.
Yes, thank you for helping me with. Word jumble. Will students be able to get vaccinated this summer if they're eligible? And I know that we are trying to do some great things this summer with that. I don't know if we have the information to share.
The goal is to be absolutely yes. If a student wants to get vaccinated this summer and is around, we want that student to be vaccinated, and we will do everything to get that student vaccinated.
Okay.
Lacey, there's a question in the chat too about transfer students. I can probably address that. It says a parent of a new transfer student, it's been difficult to connect or ask questions to real people, and the connection for transfer students and their parents, and it has been lacking. So is this addressed in the focus groups? And we definitely ask questions in our survey and in our focus groups around academic support and services. We did actually have transfer students in our focus group, so we actually were able to talk directly to those transfer students. I think one thing that came through in the listening sessions, from my perspective, is just heightening awareness for anyone who's new to the campus around what the services are that are available to them. Some are being offered virtually. Some, as we start to get more and more people vaccinated and come more and more to in-person experiences in the fall, we are trying to do more and more of those types of things in person as well. So I would say that if folks are really struggling to reach out to real people, I mean, don't hesitate to reach out to us, one of us, and we can hopefully put you in touch if there's something that person students need. So we are looking for ways to advertise more and get the word out about the services that we provide.
Great. Dr. Ross, thank you for jumping in, and feel free if you see, I'm trying to keep up with all of the questions. So if there's something else that you want to take, just jump right in, and that would be great. We've had this question. Oh, go ahead.
I saw a summer. Why is summer? Why are we doing what we're doing with summer? And again, planning. We're planning with now for something that's happening 2 months from now. You got to remember we have summer courses that start the first week or second week in May. So we really have to move quickly. We always look at summer different, and a lot of our students, we want our students to do a lot of different things in the summer. So that's the goal for the summer, is to give as much flexibility to in the offerings to meet the demands of as many of our students as possible. And frankly, we do not know what the situation is going to be on the ground, in the summer. While we're sort of drawing the line, for the fall, we have enough lead time, and we're really, confident we know what's going to be happening there. But we've had a summer group. We've been working on this that have been very active, and I think have been really very, very thoughtful. And I think we're going to have a nice range of options for your students in this.
Yeah, we did post the link to the summer session in the chat.
Dean Stein, can I get you to answer this question? Please give some thought to providing some welcome back experiences in the fall for the current class who missed all of that their first year.
Yeah, we're all on the same page with this. We all believe that our first year students and families actually did not go through the same onboarding experience that typically happens. And so there's a lot of energy and a lot of thought going and planning going around the first and second year students in trying to think about ways to connect with that rising second year class and do some kind of onboarding in a way that we would have through a traditional facet. So we hear you and we agree. And Residence Life will also be doing some initiatives around that when students return.
And Parent Family Programs will be working with all of those offices to welcome back our current families, because again, we want to make sure that you are clued in and informed as much as we can with your students being second year students. We've had this question 3 times. I'm going to go ahead and answer it. Will the students be able to get the vaccine this semester? We have to follow the guidelines of what the state of Georgia is offering. And right now, as of today, 55 and older adults are able to get the vaccine, as well as adults with underlying health conditions. So some of our students are able to sign up for that now. So we do
That's
have
correct.
some students for
And
that
they
now.
are.
Yeah.
And they are.
Yeah. Yeah. There are students currently, as of today, getting vaccinated that meet that criteria.
Right. So as soon as the Georgia continues to roll out, we'll do what we can to get everyone the vaccines who want it. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Great questions. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. I
see there's a lot of specifics about what we're going to do to that new freshman class. And, the way we're thinking, I'll just, here's an event that my office runs for new graduate students. It's not for new undergraduates, it's new graduate students who have won a certain award, and we're just going to double the size of that. We're going to invite both the brand new graduate students who have won these set of fellowships, and then the students who won them last year. And we'll take the two of them, we'll honor all of them together, and sort of treat it like that. So that's the kind of flexibility we're looking for. We also know that the risings, the second years are going to have a different set of needs than the first years, and so we're going to have to do some things very, very targeted for them.
Yeah, and a parent did note that we should include all students in onboarding. And let me just say that one of the things that will be happening is that we will all be coming back, and hopefully, and we will reconnect as a community. So you will see a lot of different events for everyone in terms of trying to bring back a sense of community and having different kind of initiation type events that we're invited to. So we will be focused on first and second, but I want to reassure you that returning students generally, both graduate and undergrad, will have a series of kinds of opportunities to connect with each other.
We actually just had a mom say that her son was able to get an appointment for the vaccine because he does have an underlying health condition. So great. That's great to hear.
Good to hear. Yes.
To hear. And definitely another family saying great to include with the new onboarding dietary restrictions. So we actually will be our Georgia Tech Dining is taking over services for next year. And we will make sure that we share that information. We always try and we're trying to be as inclusive as we can with all of our students, including dietary restrictions, but we'll definitely pass that along. I know pizza every day during that first week of Welcome Week is not always, we need to be more gluten-free. There's different choices. Cookies, we totally hear you. So we will make sure that we have lots of options for our students coming back and excitement. We are. And Dean Stein was correct when I say that we are so excited for everyone to be back. We really can't wait. So
can I, Lacey? Can I jump on one?
Absolutely.
Will students have the option to participate in remote learning in fall 2021 if they wish to do so without any undue influence on their grades? And so the answer is no, except if unless they decide to sign up for a schedule that only includes remote classes, that we're not going to the hybrid. We're not going to say a student can take any class that they want remotely. And so that will not be an option. The expectation, just like the expectation in fall of 19, was the student, this is a residential college and the students will be here. Now, if a student can register for a slate of classes that is fully remote, we're not going to require that student to come here. But you will not see, again, like my class now, where, I have an in-class and an in-person portion, a group of students that are primarily taking it, in person, and a group of students that are primarily taking it remotely. And I'm giving the same opportunities to both groups. We are not going to have that model in the fall.
Dean Stein, we've had this question a few times. Please address the serious mental health issues that students are dealing with. The mental health problems seem much more serious Why isn't this being addressed more seriously?
Well, I want to reassure you that it's being addressed very, very seriously. It's monitored every single day in terms of what we are learning, what we know, what incidents we have on campus. I did announce, and I'm not sure many of you may not have heard it, that for the next 2 weeks, the Counseling Center and CARE, our triage center, are going to be open for extended hours. They'll be open till 7 p.m. From 8 in the morning till 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday. This is in response to the heightened stress that students feel around this, time of the semester, knowing that we will not have a break in the way we traditionally do. So we're looking at that. We have RAs who are heightened in terms of their awareness of students. We're doing regular wellness checks as you as family members contact us, and we do appreciate that. And we've received a number of calls and emails that when that occurs, we do wellness checks. We send staff to the room or apartment to make sure that your student is okay, is safe, and if they need any kind of intervention or assistance. There is the after hours hotline that students can call. Many are using it. I want to let you know that in the evening and on weekends. And sometimes it's just that they need someone to talk to, and they can call that number. They'll be linked to a counselor who can speak to them and then work with them to help schedule that appointment for a Monday morning, as the centers reopen and stuff. We are looking at this weekly, and I want to just say between psychiatry, counseling, and care, they are averaging over 500 appointments a week with students. Okay, so it's very busy, very active. And I also want to reassure you, when you hear that, that can sound very frightening, okay? But I do want to reassure you that not everybody is in very, very serious kinds of shape there. That sometimes it's just students who are feeling overwhelmed, okay? And the way that I kind of explain this very quickly is that, there's a continuum, and there are students who are in distress, who are at the more serious side of that continuum. Distress, meaning that they're struggling, it's interrupting their ability to accomplish the goals that they want, they're not able to focus maybe as much as they have in the past and stuff. The majority of the students, though, are in the middle section, which are stress students, right? And you also have stress faculty and staff, right? But that's the majority of students, not so much on the distress, but we are working with all of those students to really meet their needs and get them the help that they need. But we are very aware of this, and we're doing everything we can to extend hours and to make sure that our students know how to access support and help. And you should let us know if you have a concern.
Do you want me to talk? There's a series of them in summer internships and co-ops.
Well, actually, I was just going to say we've actually had a lot of those questions in our office as well about how to get summer internships and co-ops, especially for this one for first-year students, how to go about that.
Yeah, and these are really good questions and tricky questions. It's always hardest to get an internship, in your summer between freshman and sophomore years. Even without COVID, that's the year that you have the least amount of experience. That's the year that you could, or the summer you can bring the least to the table. That's why that summer is very popular with study abroads and things like that. And I would still push those or alternative experiences. This is, again, we are working with the companies, but the companies are in a very similar situation to us. And, we cannot force companies to hire. We think our students are amazing, and the companies think our students are amazing. So what we can do is work with the companies, work with your students. I hear that, again, for your particular freshman, please go work on your CV, the resume, have them go to C2D2. We have a lot of resume. How do you build how do you write a resume? How do you build a professional resume? We have a lot of opportunities like that are ongoing and virtual. And please remind your students to be able to do those things. This is where persistence really is important, right? I mean, even more so this summer. The companies are waiting for the last minute, right? You see, they're not quite sure what's going on. This is a summer where often, people ask, what's the advantage of a co-op versus an internship? And this is a time when co-ops are a little bit more advantageous because, they're basically saying to the companies, look, I will stick with you for, 3 terms. And so the companies like that a little bit, more, certainly in trying times like this. It really depends on majors. Right now, if you're in a major like CS or industrial engineering, which those kind of, co-op, those kinds of internships can be done remotely, there's a lot more opportunities. But this is where I'm looking at Kyla, a biomedical engineer, really has to be able to sell themselves and say, wait a minute, no, that skill set that you think you're going to get out of a CS student, I have, inherent in what my BME education is. So, this is a time where, use the resources that we have, but also persistence, is critical on the student side, and have backup plans.
So we're going to take just a few more questions, and then we'll wrap up for the evening. And again, we'll share this recording. John, one of the comments was that it's very challenging to get an appointment with CARE. This parent sharing that it took her daughter 8 weeks before she could get an appointment with CARE. I know that we did a webinar last week with GT Care and the Counseling Center that addressed the time concerns, which is definitely not 8 weeks. I'm not sure what happened there. I apologize to that family that had that struggle. Do you want to talk a little bit about how long once a person is seen and how that happens?
Absolutely. Well, let me just say, if that parent wants to privately email me, and we can set up a time to talk, and then I can try to go back and investigate. 8 weeks, that's completely unacceptable, and that should have never happened. So I really would like to investigate that. I can tell you, I asked the question today to the director of CARE, if I call today, when can I get in? And she said Wednesday. Unless it's an immediate emergency, then they get you in the same day. Okay, so I am constantly asking that question. Now, what I want you to understand is that as the semester progresses and there are more students seeking the help, there may be a little bit of a backlog in terms of not being able to get in the same day or the next day. It might take 2 days to be able to get in. All right, but if any student is in need of kind of an immediate connection and contact with someone, and they say that, or you let us know that, we find a way to make that happen on the day of. Okay, that we don't postpone, those kind of very serious situations. But anytime something is going on for that long and you're hearing about it, you should let us know that, please, because it's in real time for us to be able to investigate that and figure it out and try to assist. It's very helpful for you and it's very helpful for us. I apologize for the 8 weeks. That's completely unacceptable.
Thank you. So it is just now 7 o'clock, and I know there's so many questions in the chat box that we did not get to. If you want to email our office at parents@gatech.edu, parents@gatech.edu, we will answer those questions for you, or we will get them to the office of who they are about and get answers for you from that office specifically. There are some great questions, and we are doing what we can, like we all said, to get things back up and running. If any last comments from our panelists? Anything you want to share before we head out tonight?
Thanks for the question. Thanks for the flexibility with the technology, the pivot from Teams to Blue Jeans. That was great. There's some really good questions. And hope we got to answer them, and we'll obviously, any unanswered ones we will go, when you get them to Lacey.
Thank you. Dean Stein?
Yeah, I just that, look, your feedback is extremely helpful. It's important for us to know the questions that you're wondering about. And, sometimes we don't have the exact answer, but anytime you bring something to our attention, please know that it's being addressed. And, never hesitate to reach out if you need assistance. And if you're concerned about your student here, please always reach out and let us know that. And we will do a few more of these before the end of the semester to keep you updated on any new kind of decisions that are being made.
Dr. Ross?
Yeah, I'll echo what others have said. So I would just say that if there are specific questions that people want to know about focus groups or the survey and any other specific ideas or questions that people have, don't hesitate to reach out. We will be compiling all of that data for our students and for our Georgia Tech community in a summary report, which will be coming out shortly. So people can be on the lookout for that with more details. So thanks so much for the questions.
Thank you to our panelists this evening, and thank you, families, for, again, pivoting with us. Technology, we were so excited about tonight, and then we were like, oh, we got to move to a whole nother system. So thank you again for working with us. I will say we have announced the family weekend for fall of 2021. We are wrapping up tonight with Spring Family Weekend with this last activity. But then fall 2021, October 1st through the 3rd is Family Weekend. And I cannot tell you, that will be my 11th or 12th Family Weekend, how excited I will be to see all of our families on campus that weekend. So excited. October 1st through the 3rd. So please mark that in your calendars. And again, email our office, parents@godtech.edu, and let us know how we can help. We are happy to answer whatever questions you have. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and have a great night. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.